Welcome into Sportsmemo's betting podcast, Super Bowl with Minty bets. We're doing side, total, props bets. Try to get more winners than losers on this video, Minty. So welcome in. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Drew? Are you excited?
I am. Super Bowl Sunday. It doesn't get much bigger than this. What about you?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I have so many props going on that I'm just like, oh, crap, what if they all lose? But, I mean, I don't think so.
Right. I mean, that's one thing I always try to pump the brakes on is like betting too much, because then watching the game, I'm not really knowing what to root for, and I kind of can't keep up almost. So do you have a limit on how many bets you're looking to place on the Super Bowl?
I didn't have a limit, but I have now stopped myself after like 10 prop bets. So I'm done. That's enough for me.
All right. So we'll get to those, at least most of those 10 prop bets, and I'll throw out a couple as well. But follow Minty on Twitter at MintyBets. Check her out, sportsmemo.com, wagertalk.com. Minty, we got a side here, and I believe you're
Yes.
Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not sure, though. What are you thinking side-wise as we see Kansas City -1.5 as we're talking right now late on Thursday afternoon?
So, Drew, I know you like San Francisco, and like we've had the opposite experience. Everyone I've talked to is on San Francisco, but your experience is everyone you've talked to is on Kansas City. So that is super weird. I got Kansas City at Pick'em, and I bet on them mid-second half during the Green Bay San Francisco game. Westgate Superbook here in Las Vegas released the lines at Pick'em, so I just hopped right on it. It was a gut feeling. I did it, and I still love it. Although Kansas City hasn't really faced any tough defenses, sure, we can count the Patriots, the Ravens, and the Chargers, surprisingly, are fifth in pass defense. The Chiefs have won against all of them. Their offense is explosive, and I don't need to tell you guys that because you all know that. They might not have a defense to brag about because they respond with shootouts or blowouts. Their time of possession is kind of low, but that's because when the right player gets the ball, they just zip down the field for a score. They're top 4 when it comes to first downs, top 4 in average passing yards, and top 3 in offensive scoring. I love Kansas City here, and I would actually still bet them at -1.5 if I had to. If it's -2, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, this is just such a tight game, and I'm actually kind of surprised the line hasn't really moved that much. It's kind of been floating at 1.5 for a couple days now. So, yeah, I like Kansas City.
Minty, that's a great bet. You know, you got them at Pick'em, obviously 1.5, so 1.5 now, so you get to save 1.5 here. Jumping on, during Championship Sunday, you jumped on that, saw it. I mean, a lot of people would refer to that as like a real sharp play. You know, you're beating where the line is closing. What did you exactly see when you made the bet that made you want to go to the window and actually risk your money?
I don't know. I feel like San Francisco is going to struggle here. And like I said, it was just a gut feeling. I just saw how Patrick Mahomes is performing. Their offense explosive. Andy Reid, I think like he's going to win the Super Bowl this year. I just think that although San Francisco seems like the more complete team here since they have a great defense, I just love Kansas City's offense. And like I said, they respond with shootouts. So I think it's going to be a close one.
Okay. No, it makes a lot of sense. Like you mentioned, I am looking towards the other side, mainly just because defense wins championships, kind of that slogan. Yeah. I'm running with that. And Minty, we talked about it in the studio, the Wager Talk videos. You know, both of these two teams kind of have similar profiles in terms of straight up record, 15-3 for the 49ers, 14-4 for the Kansas City Chiefs. And against the spread numbers, you know, 12-6 for San Francisco, 13-5 for Kansas City. Yeah, obviously, depending what closing numbers you're going off of, but both of them have been money makers. Their over-unders right about even, though. 9-9 for San Francisco, 10-8 over-under for Kansas City. It seems like a lot of people think this is going to be a high-scoring game. We've seen the total, open up 51. Now we're seeing 54, even as high as 54.5 at the Westgate here in Las Vegas. Do you have a sense on the total? Do you like it over? Do you like it under?
So I originally loved the over, but then I saw like 99% of people were like on the over. I didn't place a bet for the full game total, but I do like the first half under 27. The Chiefs have been off to a slow start this postseason, as we've seen, but in their last 5 games, both post and regular season, they're averaging, 18 points per first half, and the Niners are averaging 17 points per first half. I'm screwed if the Chiefs score 18 points and the Niners score 17 points. But San Francisco's defense, they're only allowing an average of 8 points per first half in their last 5 games. So I think that's something to look at, and I think it'll really pick up second half. So this kind of just leads me to my next prop bet, which is going to be the more like the higher scoring half, which is the second half. I didn't write it down actually, so I don't actually know what number that is. I'm so sorry.
No. That works. I mean, keeping up with all these props can be a little tricky. That's why I always try not to bet too many of them, because I've made that mistake in the past. But so you're on the first half under 27.
Yes.
In I guess in the analysis of why you picked under in the first half, is it because Super Bowls with the fanfare, the entertainment, we've seen it in the past where the offenses get off to slow starts. Is that it, or is it something in terms of both of these two teams in their past have scored more in the second half?
The second,
a
little bit of both, but actually, yes, because these two are great second half scorers, I really like the first half under. And that you're right, because of the Super Bowl, all the adrenaline, maybe they get a little bit nervous the first half, first quarter. So we're going to see less scoring here. Okay,
I'm with you. I like that first half under 27. I'm actually surprised that the first half total is at 27 when the full game is at 54. I would think that they would kind of cut down that first half total a little more, and we might be seeing 26, something like that, a little bit shorter. I
was on the Wager Talk Liveline site, and there's actually some places at 26 even. So 26 and a half at Westgate, but at Stations it is 27, and that's where I got it at Stations.
Is Stations your favorite sports betting place here in Vegas?
Only because it's right next to my house. But I do find better numbers, elsewhere, like Circa or Westgate. Those are the other two sports books that I would bet at as well.
Good stuff, Minty. Yeah. And so I guess that's side and total here for the Super Bowl. Follow her on Twitter at Minty Bets. And also this weekend with Yahoo doing their Super Bowl, what broadcast here, Minty? You're going to be at the Mirage on Sunday and Mandalay Bay on Saturday. People should come and find you and say hi, huh?
Yeah, so if I'm sure a lot of you guys are in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl, if you happen to be at an MGM property, I'm going to be at the Mandalay Bay Saturday and the Mirage on Sunday before the game, just to film for a couple hours. If you guys are out at the sports books, just say hi, unless I'm filming or look busy. But feel free to say hi, because I always like meeting people from Twitter and, the Wager Talk followers and stuff.
All right, good stuff, Minty. And what about other props here you want to be betting, or I guess would recommend other people jump on that you've maybe bet personally in terms of other prop bets for the Super Bowl?
Yes. So one of the prop bets I really like is, will the game be tied after 0-0? I said yes, -110, easy. I'm expecting this to be a close game, and I think a lot of people are as well. I think it kind of ties into another prop bet I have, but a lot of the time when a team scores, the other team will score and tie it up. So it's a really, really good chance. I mean, that sounds stupid, but it's so simple. There's a really good chance that they will tie it up at some point in the 4 quarters. So I really like that one. And this ties into my other prop bet, which is, what will the largest lead be, under or over 14.5 points? And I think it's going to be under. I don't see either of these teams passing the other by 2 touchdowns, or by over 2 touchdowns, I should say. So like I said, I think it's going to be close. And I think you can even find out some other books at 15.5. But it's plus money. It's a plus 110 at the Westgate. So I really like that.
Okay, so game tied after 0-0, yes. And that was -110 each side, Minty?
Yes.
And under 14.5 largest lead, and that's plus money.
Yes, plus 110. I like it. Do you have any prop bets that you like, Drew?
I do, absolutely. I got okay. It kind of factors into your first half under here, Minty. One that I really like, and guys out there, if you're into like quick action, you're kind of the degenerate type, and I say degenerate in a good way. You're not going to have to wait long to hopefully cash this ticket. I like the Kansas City Chiefs to punt before score, and this is almost a pick 'em price, minus 105 to punt and minus 115 to score. So reduced juice on the punt. I think that Kansas City is going to punt before either kicking a field goal or scoring a touchdown. One is, like we were saying, it's the Super Bowl. There's extra fanfare, extra entertainment. The timing's off. We've seen in the past, for whatever reason, the offenses struggle out the gate in the Super Bowl more so than not, and the defenses tend to take advantage of that and play well in the beginning. So I'm using that in my back pocket, Minty. And also looking at the Kansas City Chiefs offense, in their most two recent games here in this postseason, they've gone 3 and out in both of their 2 playoff games. They had a penalty in one of them. Pat Mahomes actually hasn't fared well. He had, I believe, 1 completion and incomplete passes on both of those 2 first drives of the game. So I think that kind of replicates itself, and then the Chiefs, get better as the game goes on. So I'm using both of those 2 things, and I think at minus 105 price tag, Chiefs to punt before score. That's my favorite bet of the board right now.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be an easy one. I like that one.
Yeah, and throw in the fact that they're going up against the San Francisco 49ers defense, arguably, and in my opinion, the best defense that Kansas City is going to face. So,
right, I agree. So that does make me a little bit nervous, but God, Patrick Mahomes, come on, Drew.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's no. I think he's the best player in the NFL, but
yeah, absolutely.
A lot of times we've seen, especially or maybe we haven't seen it, but at least I'm wishful thinking here in terms of big time games. A lot of people liking the offense more than the defense, and I kind of think it has the profile of that Carolina Panthers versus Denver Broncos Super Bowl a few years ago, where Cam Newton and company, he was, I believe that was his MVP year. They were rolling, and then sure enough, they got to that Broncos.
They only had
defense.
1 loss all season, and that was the game that I bet with, the Panthers on. So I remember that very vividly.
Yeah, I was on the Panthers as well. I think that was a little bit of the Auburn Tiger in me, wishful thinking, but lost that one. I'm trying to kind of learn from my mistakes in the past. That's why I'm very non-confidently, Minty, liking the San Francisco 49ers.
I know. Okay, so I have a question kind of off topic here, and we didn't really discuss this beforehand. But you said Patrick Mahomes might arguably be the best quarterback right now in the league. Mm-hmm. Do you think he's Super Bowl MVP worthy? Because I think he has a great chance at winning this.
Sure. I mean, if I had to pick one player who should be the favorite, it would be Pat Mahomes, and I believe he is.
He is totally the favorite.
Yeah, Super Bowl MVP. So, yes, I think that he's absolutely can win the MVP. I also think there might be a little bit of value here on Jimmy G at a pretty big plus price to be the MVP, because if San Francisco does win, chances are that it's a quarterback or not bad. I think he could just kind of win it by default. You know what I mean, Minty?
Yeah, I think the same thing. So, Jimmy G is the second runner-up as a favorite to win, but I really think Pat Mahomes has this in the bag here, and I might put a little money because I am seeing some plus money elsewhere, but a lot of the Vegas books are already at minus 105, minus 110 for Pat Mahomes to win Super Bowl MVP, so I might want to hop on that one before it gets any higher.
Yeah, that's interesting. So he's actually going off at chalk right now in terms of winning the MVP.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I like that as much as maybe just betting Kansas City then at minus 105 or minus 1 point, which we can still find out there. Because if somebody else goes off, they still could win the MVP. Where do you think there's more value in placing your money on Pat Mahomes to win the MVP or Kansas City Chiefs minus 1.5 right now?
Kansas City Chiefs minus 1.5.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's more value in that than there is Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, and that speaks to, the MVP being more of a futures market, meaning, plus on this guy, plus multiple choices. And usually, guys, if you're kind of new to sports betting, that's not as smart of a bet just because it costs more money to make that bet. The sports books out there charge people more money. They're taking more of a vig to place that bet. So I think that speaks towards that as well. Good stuff, Minty. Do you want to throw out any other props for the Super Bowl that you're betting?
Okay, this one I don't. Let me pick out of my list here.
Okay.
I like Patrick Mahomes to rush for over 33 and a half yards, minus 110. Got it at Westgate. He's a mobile quarterback, very young. He's able to scramble out of the pocket a lot, which we see pretty often. He's hit over 50 rushing yards several times this season. And with a pass defense like the Niners, he's probably going to do it again. They're going to pressure him. He's going to run out of the pocket. I wouldn't be surprised if Pat Mahomes even runs the ball in for a touchdown at one point or another. So that might also be another prop bet to look into. But I told you I'm done, Drew. Don't make me place any other prop bets. I'm done.
Okay, so Pat Mahomes over 33 and a half rushing yards. And was that minus 110?
Yeah, just a minus 110 at the Westgate.
Okay. There you go, guys. We're not going to make Minty place too many more bets here, but she does have a bunch of prop bets. What about these kind of – and, guys, you can follow Minty on Twitter at Minty Bets, myself on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. We got these kind of exotic props, alternative props, however you want to phrase them. We talked about some of them in studio, Minty, but do want to get your kind of opinion here on I'll just read some of them out and feel free to throw any that you went out to the watchers. First QB to be shown during the national anthem. I like Pat Mahomes minus 150 just because we've talked about he's likely the best player in the NFL. But you kind of are on Jimmy G to be shown first. And, of course, guys, we're talking these are more offshore props. You can't really bet them here in Vegas, but offshore you can find them on the internet. And sure enough, it's just camera angle during the national anthem. Which quarterback to be shown first, Minty? You like Pat Mahomes minus 150. I like Jimmy G. What was it? Plus 130, plus 120? Plus 110, yeah.
Oh, 110. Okay, yes. I like Jimmy G, and I can see from your angle that you think Patrick Mahomes is going to be shown because you cashed in with Tom Brady being shown first during the anthem because he has a bigger name, he has more rings, has won MVP multiple times. And with Patrick Mahomes, yes, he could very well be the Super Bowl MVP and could very well be shown first. But I think maybe it's going to go something like this. The commentator, whoever it is going to be like, okay, for the first time in years, the New England Patriots are not going to be in this Super Bowl. We're going to pan over to Jimmy G, Tom Brady's protege, and then pan over to Patrick Mahomes. So that's kind of where I'm thinking and hoping because I would rather see Jimmy G first.
Yeah, I'm really starting to question it now. I could see that happening. And Minty, if that happens in that form or fashion, we got to cut this clip because
we got to edit this out.
Exactly. I now that you're saying it, I could picture that, and I'm really starting to question my bet here on Pat Mahomes being minus 150. We also talked about Shakira and J-Lo, neither showing cleavage, plus 550. Now, guys, remember, this is plus 550, meaning it's a huge underdog. You just have to risk $100, and you'll win $550 if both Shakira and J-Lo, neither of them are showing cleavage. I bet on it, Minty. What do you think about that bet?
Oh my God, you did? You actually bet on it? Okay, well, ever since we talked about it yesterday at Wager Talk in the studio, I kind of think at least one of them will show cleavage. Oh, no. And I think that it's J-Lo, if anything. And I think J-Lo's at plus 250, right? But okay, don't be scared because it's very well, like it could happen that neither of them will show. Like we said, bodysuits are totally in. Yeah. Turtlenecks are in. I don't know if you guys noticed, but lots of women have been wearing turtlenecks lately, and even like it's a thing. So I think those are very good chances that neither of them will show cleavage. But like outfit changes, will there be outfit changes?
See, that's where it's out of bounds for my expertise, Minty, and how the production's going to work. And also they could come out with a bodysuit and then rip it off, and then obviously then there's cleavage. Then what happens in that situation? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be getting paid out plus 550. No. Yeah, it's just one of those things, guys. I wouldn't recommend going wild on these bets. It's kind of more fun than anything. But we got another
fun small bets. Yeah.
I don't think you can bet too much on these. It's kind of smaller limits. Okay, one that I really like here, Minty. Will there be fireworks heard in the national anthem right after bombs bursting in air? Quote. I say yes, plus 175. And, guys, I got to clarify this. Hard Rock Stadium, in Miami Gardens, the site of the Super Bowl. I've seen more games in this stadium than any other stadium in my life. I grew up in South Florida. I've seen the Dolphins, the Hurricanes, the Marlins. Yes, the Marlins used to play in this stadium. And I'm telling you, since they redid it, put a half $500 million into this stadium, got the Super Bowl now. Like for Canes games or Dolphins games, I'm telling you, anytime they score, it's fireworks galore. There is tons of fireworks. It got to the point, obviously, the Dolphins weren't that good. It's like first down, Dolphins, fireworks. The guy with the button, he's just clicking that. As long as it's the same guy, there's going to be fireworks a lot during the Super Bowl. I think, yes, plus 175 in fireworks being blasted off right after that in the national anthem. I think that's a sharp play there, so I recommend that one. Minty, did you have any other – well, one, do you agree with that and any other kind of exotic props that you had?
I can totally agree with that, and I love that you used your personal experience to your advantage to bet on this. So that was really cool. I wouldn't have even thought about that. But do you think that like all those fireworks isn't just like Miami pride or Southern Florida pride? And do you think it'll transition over to this nationally broadcasted like huge game? Like, do you think that will like transition over? I don't know.
See, that's what I'm worried about. I can totally see that. And look, this isn't guaranteed. Like nothing in sports betting is.
There's no locks.
No, like I'm not even sure if it's the same guy or girl doing like the clicking.
If he got fired.
Right, he got fired, or who knows? The NFL brings in the new fireworks guy, and the Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium guys left out, on the road. I'm not sure about all that, but what I do know is this stadium fires off a lot of fireworks, no matter what the case being. So I'm hopefully thinking that that's the case for the Super Bowl. And I've heard it in the past at other places. When you're at a game, Minty, and it's a big game, sometimes, bombs bursting in air. It's like, boom, right. You hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that one, and I'm actually with you on that one. But another prop that I kind of do like is, will Demi Lovato, who will be performing the national anthem, will she wear a dress, skirt, or a gown to sing? And I actually really like the no at plus 150. I think this is available at Bovada, okay. Whatever. I've not used it before. Yeah, I don't think so, because she is kind of like, I don't want to say tomboyish, but she wears, more pants than dresses typically. And I can totally see her coming out in a pantsuit, like maybe a sparkly pantsuit with like a very low neckline sort of thing. So I'm hoping that's what she wears. I'm not going to bet on this because it's like one of those offshore ones, but I really like the no for this, plus 150.
Okay, so and what is it exactly? It's Demi Lovato,
no to wearing a dress / skirt / gown. So it's like pants.
Dress, skirt, gown. And yes. That's plus 150?
Yes.
All right. I think I'm
gonna I like that one.
Jump on that one too, Minty. Okay, what about, you might know a little bit more about Demi Lovato than me, but I believe the total time of the national anthem is at 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Now, different sports books have different kind of timing here. Do you have any opinion on how long she sings the national anthem for?
So I have this at like a flat 2 minutes, okay. And I think it's going to be under. I didn't really study her other national anthem lengths when she did it for like a boxing match or whatever. I think she's done it 3 separate times. Yeah. But I think most of them have been right under 2 minutes. So if it is at the 2 minute mark, I would take the under. And I have it at plus 155.
Okay, so like in the under there. See, I did do a little bit of research, and I believe, she sang it like 3 times, and 2 of them did go under. But those were also the first 2. Really? 7, 8 years ago. I believe her most recent one did go over. So that has me thinking, and she's had some kind of, off the field issues. I don't know what that is. So now she's back on the spotlight. I'm thinking she's going to want to, really let those pipes sing and kind of have
and like elongate it. Yes, yeah. I can definitely see that. I have not bet this. I don't know if I will. But gosh, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the national anthem. I mean, it gives me the chills, but I never have timed it before is what I'm saying. So that's actually a really good one. And that's a real quick way, I guess, to make your money or lose your money.
Yeah, it's a fun one to do, guys. Just have it on your stopwatch there and have something to root for. But
exactly. And you know what? I was watching, I was sitting in on Bet on It for Wager Talk, and Marco, Kelly, and Yanni were saying, like, why bet it at the sportsbook? Why give it to these offshore accounts when you can bet your friend under or over, so you don't really have to pay any juice to the books? So I thought that was a really good idea. So if you are going to bet it, just do it with your friend. I suggest that.
That's a good point too, Minty. So you think the under?
I think the under 2 minutes. Yeah. But now, I don't know, after you said that her unders have hit like several years ago, I'm just thinking, maybe. I don't know. I got to stick with my under. I can't overanalyze this.
Okay. All right, Minty.
Okay. All right, Drew, it's on. You think the over, I think the under. Okay.
I was going to say, do we need to do a live bet right now? But
live bet. Who you guys got?
All right. Minty, did you want to throw anything else out there? Anything to do with the Super Bowl? Props, exotic props, on the field props, anything like that?
You know what? I think those were kind of my best ones and ones that I kind of felt like I could explain better. So no, I think that's kind of it. Oh, I'm sorry. There is one. Jersey number of player to score the first touchdown. 26.5 is the under or over. I kind of like the over. I think it is like this could go to Kittle or Juszczyk or Kendrick Bourne or Joe Staley, Travis Kelce, any of those. So Raheem Mostert, even though I don't think he'll score a touchdown this game, but it very well could go to him. I think most likely it's going to be a tight end. I don't know why. It's one of those like feelings, because this is the year of the tight ends, like several years of the tight ends. They have just like shined the past couple of years. Sure. So it could be George Kittle or Travis Kelce, who are 87 and 85, by the way.
Okay. Arguably the two best tight ends in the NFL are playing in this game.
Yeah, and I have the over at plus 110 and the under at minus 140.
So you like Jersey number to score first over 26.5 at plus 110?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And for those of you that live in Las Vegas, that is available at Westgate and Stations Casino.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like it. Minty. Bets with all the Super Bowl props here. I would say we'd go through them, but there's a lot here. Jersey number to score over 26.5 plus 110. Demi Lovato no dress, skirt, or gown plus 150. Patrick Mahomes rush yards over 33.5 minus 110. We have under 14.5, the largest lead, plus 110. And tied after 0-0, yes, for Minty bets, minus 110.
That's all me.
Okay.
Yes.
I also got the Chiefs to punt before score first, minus 105. Will there be fireworks heard in the national anthem right after bombs bursting in air? Yes, plus 175. Shakira and J-Lo neither to show cleavage, plus 550. First QB to be shown during the national anthem. I have Pat Mahomes minus 150, but Minty likes Jimmy G at plus 110.
G plus 110. Yes, I'm writing that down. Okay.
All right. Minty Bets. Follow her on Twitter at Minty Bets. I'm on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. Minty, did want to ask you one more question. Sports betting, it's the Super Bowl. There's going to be a lot of money bet on this, likely over, $5 billion. Depends what kind of estimate you want to go off of. But we just saw Barstool Sports sold for almost valued at almost $500 million here, $450 million to Penn. A gambling syndicate of some sort in multiple states here. As sports betting has grown pretty much exponentially here in the last couple of years, you have just gotten into the business, this past summer, and you're over, 15,000 followers on Twitter, growing what are you thinking about what this sports betting industry is going to do over the next couple of years? I think you'd probably be the best person out there to answer this question.
I think it's going to keep growing and expanding, and I think it's great. First of all, congrats to Barstool Sports. I've been following them for a while. I love their Instagram, by the way. But congrats to them. That's a huge deal. So that's awesome. Like I said, I think the sports betting industry is going to grow and expand. And with the legalization, that's a huge deal. We're seeing a ton of I'm seeing a ton of people who've started Twitters and wanting to post their picks and wanting to start websites and write about sports betting, not just, sports analysis, but betting and the numbers. And I absolutely love it. Like, the more information you can give, the better that we can all become, because it is, yes, a sports betting industry, but I think it's a sports betting community, and we should all help each other out and beat the books. And that's just what I think. What do you think, Drew?
I think that, the sky's the limit here. It's a really exciting time to be in the industry, and heck, betting's never been more fun. And now that it's legal, it's even more in the forefront. And I think that's a good thing. More integrity, and heck, there's going to be more, companies that are already in sports betting getting bought by major Fortune 500 companies. So I think this is something that's going to continue, Minty.
Yep, I love it. It is a great time to be in the industry. And a lot of people have messaged me asking how to get their foot in the door. And Drew, a lot of the times, I don't know what to say other than, just be real on social media, post your pics, post a little video and analysis and tell us why, write something. Do you have any advice for people that want to get their foot in the door of the sports betting industry, whether they want to be a host or just part of social media sports betting, or an analyst for a website or a company? Do you have any advice? Because a lot of people want to do this for a living, and I guess a lot of men want to do this for a living, but it's really hard for them to get noticed and for them to gain credibility.
Sure. Well, I would first say, if any girls out there are watching, one, supply and demand is heavily in your favor. As Minty knows, Kelly in Vegas, just use that in your favor and keep running with it if you know what you're talking about in sports betting. For guys, I think it's a little bit more difficult to get noticed just because the supply and demand metrics aren't necessarily on our side as much. Although if you're talented at what you're doing, like you said, Twitter is a great tool to put it out there. And I'll tell you what, you can send it to Drew at sportsmemo.com. If you're, we have guys doing this because guys reach out to me too, Minty, and how to get on sports memos, stuff like that. And we can't just say yes to everybody that asks, because it's a business. You got to really watch who comes in the door. But, when guys keep doing it and they're consistent and they write good content, on their picks and why, we'll put it up on the free sports picks page for kind of customers and viewers to come look. And you can kind of build a following that way, and then maybe you can grow a sports memo. So that's something out there for anybody looking to get into the business and you think you got a talent. Also, the videos on Twitter, and it doesn't only have to be girls. If it's girls, it's even more of a plus. But I'll tell you this, Minty, and you and Kelly are the ones that told me this, in terms of, just having a video with the Vegas Strip in the background and saying your pick and why. For whatever reason, people love that. The likes, people are like, good luck, I'm tailing, stuff like that. So even a little video clip, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, goes a long way. And I know a lot about that, Minty.
I 1000% agree. And the advice I would give people if they want to do a Twitter video is make sure you know what your background is. Like you said, the Vegas Strip, absolutely perfect, but not everyone lives in Vegas. Make sure whatever background is, it's just a clean wall or a clean room. We don't want dog crap on the floor or cats in the background. I don't know. I just I'm a very, very big, it's very big to me when I see people in their dirty hotel rooms or their bedrooms with clothes all over. It's just just have good lighting and a good background and good content, of course. Keep it quick. And that's it.
Well said, Minty. Couldn't have said it any better. Guys, special coupon code for this podcast, 10 off at sportsmemo.com. That's just 10 off for $10 off of any play, any package, sportsmemo.com. Follow Minty on Twitter at MintyBets. She'll be at the Mirage on Sunday for Super Bowl Sunday. She'll be at Mandalay Bay on Saturday. If you're in Vegas, come say hi to her. Not if she's too busy, though. Just
not if I'm too busy. Exactly. Thanks, guys.
All right, Minty, thank you. Best of luck with your bets, except for the Pat Mahomes or Jimmy G shown first in the national anthem. Camera angle there.
I will be watching it very closely.
Best of luck. Have a fun weekend, guys, and we'll talk on Monday.